Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today I want to talk about something that I think is a very interesting dilemma that we live in as a people today. And that's the concept of, remember this slogan back in the days at fast food place, Burger King, that have it your way. Have it your way. You don't want the pickles, then don't get the pickles. You want extra pickles, then get extra pickles. You don't want the ketchup or whatever, you can make it the way you want it to be. And it's going to be tailored to specifically what it is that you want. But it's something that I realized that most of our life in reality is kind of set up this way. It's set up in a way that pretty much everything is trying to be force-fed to us that way. You know, you want this outfit, so get 8 of them and return the 7 that you don't like. Try them all on and get the one that you want, and don't worry about the ones you don't. You could just return them and get your money back, and kind of everything is set up like this. Just whatever way you want it, that's the way that it should be. This is where things get complicated with a mindset like that. Unfortunately, I just realized most all of us, when it comes down to relationships with people, you can say to somebody, I don't like this about you. But what is the first thing that we do when we're with someone or something in any scenario? I don't like this about you. What is the first thing that we do in that sense? We try to change them to be what we like. We try to make them be what we want them to be. We try to create just think about this in a weird way, that store called Build-A-Bear. A lot of y'all ladies and a lot of y'all guys out here are trying to create your spouse and your boyfriend and your girlfriend to be a Build-A-Bear. I like this feature, I like this feature, I like this look, I like this look, I don't like that, let's change that. And then you can even build it and then realize in the end, it's I kind of want to change this a little bit because I used to like that, but now I have a new taste because I'm older and I'm grown up more, and now I want it to be like this now. We can't do that to people. We can't even do that to animals. We can't do that with anything that's a living, breathing being. We could do that with some inanimate objects, such as your sheets, such as your clothes, such as just silly items, your food. My goodness, especially your food. We have an unlimited amount of opportunities when it comes to food. But when it comes to a person, we are very limited in who we are. And the moment that you try to come in and say, I'm going to change this about somebody, that's the moment that the control starts to kick in, that things are going to start to get hostile. You're never going to get this dog that you're like, I like everything about it. You're going to get it, and there's going to be lots of things more likely that you just can't stand about them. It's just you're looking at that thing like, oh my goodness, why do you do this? Why are you acting like this? There's going to be that in every relationship, in everything, everywhere in your life. And the big thing that's just being force-fed to us today, especially about the dog, is, well, I don't like that the dog does this, so I'm going to now make it do this. As soon as you do that, you're going into a level of control. That level of control is now starting to influence that dog to say, well, you're controlling me, now I need to start to control you. What relationship has anyone ever been in, especially when it comes down to boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, hopefully you're only a boyfriend, girlfriend in this sense, you don't make it to husband, wife, but you're a boyfriend, girlfriend sense, and you're saying to your other person, I don't like the way you dress and I want you to dress like this now. More than likely, what starts to happen from that is that person now does the exact same thing to you. They may not do it in the sense of the clothes, but they may do it in the sense of, well, since you're being honest, words that a lot of people like to say, well, since you're being honest, well, let me be a little honest as well. I don't like these meals that you cook. I wish that you would stop cooking like this, and I want you to cook like this now. And let's go even super deep. You can get in a woman's feelings real quick. Any dude out here can say this to your girlfriend at any moment. So you go get in her feelings real quick. You know, I like the way that my mom cooked it. You need to cook it like how she cooks it. You came in to try to control him to say, I need you to look like this. And now he came in and is now controlling you to say, you need to be like this. That's so toxic. We can't do that to one another. We can't be that. And the second that you're saying, I don't like something about someone and trying to change them to be what you like, that's the second that confrontation has to start to happen. It has no choice. It has to happen. It has to go down that way. You're not going to be able to just say, well, you're not going to let me do this. And then the other thing just submits and folds and just quits and gives up. That's not the way this world works. And some people, unfortunately, you do that. But you do that only for a limited amount of time. This is the stuff that I recognize and realize when it, say, working with the dogs, that I start to see this more in human beings. That I could take this from you and say, I don't like this that you do, so I'm going to make you do this instead. They may do it for some time. Some time it may look good. But then at some point, some situation is going to happen that's no longer going to work. They're no longer going to be able to do that. They're no longer going to be able to just, the word I want to use here is conform. They're going to have to stand up and say, no, I don't like that you're treating me like this. I don't like that the word that someone would say is that you are changing. but they're not changing. They're trying to change you, and you don't like the change that they're trying to force upon you. So you have to start to do something about that. It's not that the other person is doing anything. They're doing it all to make you be different. They're not the ones being different. They're the ones that are trying to force you down to be what they want, what they want you to be. And that is, it's not going to work. It's not going to be a healthy long-term relationship. And it's the main thing that we're doing with these dogs out here. I don't like that you sniff too much. I don't like that you chew on that bone. I don't like that you run. I don't like that whatever the dog does, you say, I don't like that that's what that dog does. So you say, I needed to do this instead. The moment that you never allow them to do that thing that they wanted to do and say, you can only do now this instead, this is where the conflict of interest is going to start to happen. This is where you're not really helping them, but you're starting to hurt and hinder them. You're not getting them into a better place. You're starting to get them to just submit in a way that is not healthy. And will the dog submit? Yeah, it may. But this is the thing on why most cases, every single time that we're doing this, you're seeing something somewhere else. It has to come up somewhere else. It's just what it is. And why? It's the cause and effect of the world. If you do something, something is going to come from it. Good and bad. And bad and good. Both ways in it. Something is going to happen from it. You may see something great. It's like, oh, I changed them and now things look good. It may seem that way for a while. But then what starts to happen through time, you start to see things start to get a little weary and a little weary and a little weary. As opposed to things getting better and better and better. Things wanting to get closer and closer and closer to you. That's the one thing that I've just really been noticing, especially just with my simple animals, especially this one here. I know you censored. This one, where you at, girl? This dog here. There was a video I made months ago I'm like, I got to put her back on leash again because I just want to be able to explain to her more what it is that I'm looking for. And in that moment, I realized she still wanted to chase a little bit more. She still wanted to just get a little bit more out. I could stand there and just give her leash pressure after leash pressure after leash pressure and leash pressure and leash pressure, say no sit, give her treat after treat, no sit, no do this, no do that. You can never be able to run. You can never be able to be free. You're only able to do this. That would have made this dog not want to be nowhere near me. Like literally, she's like, this is interesting. This dog's turned into a very, very, my favorite in the sense of where we are. She doesn't want to leave my side. She runs and does what she needs to do when I give her that chance to say, this is what you want, this is what you're going to do. And I give that to her. Now she's just like that. I just want to hang out with you, man. I don't want to go anywhere else because I didn't look at this dog and say, I don't like that you like to chase. So I'm not going to let you do that. No, I said, I see that you like it. Now let's go do it in a healthy manner. This is the thing of I said this, I don't even know how long ago I said this in the video, but on the sense of being friends with somebody. You notice that your friends like to race. They like to street race. And you're like, that's not safe. That's not a healthy thing to do. That's dangerous. We can't do it here. But I know you have this need in you that you want to do that. So let's go somewhere that we could do that where it's going to be in a safe manner. And you go there and you do that. And then you don't say to that person, you're never allowed to race again. No, you're saying to that person, we can race over here where it's safe now, where we can go all out. There's no cops behind our back. There's nothing going on. We could be what we want to be. We could do the way we want to do it and just let it all out and have fun. And that itch is going to like start to disappear. The thing is though, this is something weird that I do know that the dog is the same way with this. You like that level of danger sometimes. You like that little rush of like something iffy might happen. You like having to maybe run from the cops here and there when you want to go out and do street racing. That's part of the reason why you do it. It's not all about the race. There's a little bit of that danger in there where you're like, I like this danger. And this is the part where us being able to effectively communicate with one another is going to be able to explain to them why that is something of an unhealthy thing that you have more than likely learned because of something that you're trying to control that you need not to be controlling anymore. And a lot of this stuff that we're doing, it comes in a sense of we are just doing what someone else did to us. And once we recognize and realize that, we're no longer going to want to do that. And that's the thing about, say, a dog chasing in an environment out here where I'm at. They do like, I see it in them. They like that it's danger, man. It's a little scary. It's a little sketchy. I just want to go and pursue and see and figure this out. And I'm explaining to them, no, I'm not going to, you can let all that go. You can let it go. You could just be happy. You could chill. You could do what you want to do in a good way. And that like the sense of want to be a risk taker starts to just disappear. It starts to it just fades completely away. Not instantly. This is a lot of stuff that everyone is kind of like still in this, some ducks, in a high level of control of thinking, I want everything fixed instantly. Instantly. If it's not done right this moment, then something's wrong here. And that's not what relationships are about. If you got a Build-A-Bear, yeah, you can instantly say, I don't like the way the nose is on it now. You can take it back to the store. They can stitch on a new, or take the old nose off and stitch on a new nose and say, here we go. And it's instantly done for you. You're good to go. But that's not how relationships work. It's not an instant thing that goes on. It's communication back and forth to be able to work with each other, to be able to get what it is that we're looking for in the end. And saying, hey, and straight up, stuff that this is new for me in my life personally, but stuff that I haven't practiced this on humans yet, but I've been practicing this with dogs in a way of saying, I just don't like this about you. Like, I flat out would just say, like, I just can't stand that you do this. I don't know what it is, and I don't know why it's even irritating me watching you do that, but I just don't like that. And me looking at it and saying it, and then say to the other person, no, I don't like it, but I don't want to take that from you. I'm not going to strip that from you because I don't like it. That may be a situation where you go do that over there. That's how it is right now. I don't know, when they're chewing on sticks, it's not that loud. It's the bones that make it loud. I just can't stand my dog is chewing next to me. I don't know what it is. But I'm not going to say you're never allowed to be able to chew anything again. I'm going to say, no, you go do it over there. Go way over there where I can't see that nasty mess. It's just, it's too much for me. Even when I feed my dogs, how I feed them, it's nasty still to me. Still, because it's just the way that they're just scavenging through the chicken and pulling it apart. I'm like, y'all over there. Y'all not next to the house. Y'all over there. And I like doing it at nighttime, so I really can't see. Y'all just go eat y'all food over there. It's not something it's just nasty to me. It's just the way it looks and how they're doing it and pulling stuff, and it's just like, ew. But I'm not gonna not let you do that because it's nasty and I don't like it. I'm going to give them their space, their area, their everything to be able to do what it is that they need to do. And that's now not me controlling them saying, I don't like this, so no, you can never do that again. That's me saying, hey, I know you like this, just go do what you need over there. And just kind of leave me out of that part of the stuff that I just don't really approve of. But most cases, people don't do that. You don't like that someone wears a certain outfit and you're like, you're trying to say you could never this and you could never that. But then again, you met the person wearing what they're wearing. But now all of a sudden it's no good because now you don't like it because now you're, say, further along in where you are. If you met someone with how they were and what they were doing, you kind of just have to really just see it as that's who they are and don't try to put on them something that isn't there. And that's a big thing with these dogs that a lot of people like to do is put stuff on them that's not actually there. You're forcing your will upon in thinking the dog is acting this way when it's really not. It's just being a dog, doing what a dog is doing. It's not acting the way that you're really thinking that it is. And that's something that, unfortunately, a lot of people are just doing with everything when it comes down to relationships. We're trying to change them and not realizing who they were when we first saw them. We first were interacting with them. We started to like some things, then we start to realize things that we don't like. When you start to realize those things that you don't like, you got to stop and assess the situation. What's going on here? Because the second that you're trying to say, I need you to stop doing that because I don't like that, you're controlling that person. That's now officially, you're headed for a very toxic relationship. As opposed to coming to that person and saying, I don't like that. And that other person can say, well, okay, maybe I would want to change to adapt to something that you would like on the own free will of that other person making that decision on their own without it being forced and pressured. Then you're going to get a little bit somewhere where I can say that's how it is with my dogs, for instance, in a situation like that. I don't like that they chase stuff out here. It's just it's not going to happen. It's a no-go. And I'm looking at them saying, I don't like this. And I say, I don't like it here, but I'm cool with it over there. So then I got the dog to understand, okay, I don't like it here. So on their own free will is why they just constantly are always hanging out and staying and don't chase a single thing out here unless I'm asking them to be able to. Sometimes there's little birds. I just say, go get it because it just is what it is. It doesn't go crazy out here ever. But it just is what it is. If I'm here and there's like ducks, there's some ducks coming up, I think. And I just tell them to go ahead and go get the ducks. And the ducks will fly away because they can never even get possibly close to them because they're like way in the middle of the water anyways. But it just gets their brains to just get going. But the main thing is, I'm not saying that because I don't like that you do it here, you're never allowed to be able to do it. I'm saying I would like it if we can come to an understanding. I'll let you do this almost in reality as much as you want, as long as we do it in a way that's going to be able to work for both of us in a safe way. Not in a way that I'm trying to control everything about you, but doing it in a safe manner. Doing it in a situation that we can both be able to have some fun out of this, as opposed to one of us is just being beat down and destroyed all the time. And that's say simple thing, but a complicated thing with working with a dog of time and place. Working with a human being, I'm not going to talk to a human like that in a way, and I hope that everyone can quite understand that. But the main thing is we want to be able to communicate of, I see that you like that, I don't like that, but I'm not going to say that you are not allowed ever able to be able to do that. I could look at my shepherd here and say, hey buddy, I don't like that you are, I don't like you chewing on those sticks. That I don't like that you sniff all what you be sniffing out here all the time. And say I don't like that he's sniffing on it. And if I just say to the dog, you're never allowed to do that, I'm gonna be butting heads with this animal. As opposed to saying, okay, let's go ahead and sniff over here. Let's go ahead and sniff over there. We can sniff right here. We can sniff right there, and all the sniffing is fine over here. But over here, how about we just not do it? How about we just wait? How about we just lay off of that a little bit? That's the way of being able to work back and forth. I don't like that they're doing it, but I'm not saying that you're not and never going to be able to do it again. And the thing is, we say that we don't like something and that we just never allow them to be able to do it again. That's the amount of control that is just, it's so toxic that's why most folks is struggling with these dogs. You're struggling with it because you're not listening to them. You want them to be this little Build-A-Bear box or Build-A-Bear little animal. You want how it looks. You want it to act and function the way you want it to function. You want to have it pre-programmed with a little voice box to say exactly what you want it to say. You want everything with it the way that you want it. And that's not how this world is. That's just not, it's not the way that it is. The way that it is there's going to be things that you don't like about it. And that's the part where we figure out how to be able to work with them and to figure out how to get through these things that we don't like about each other. And good word to use here is how we can compromise with each other to be able to work with each other to be able to get what we don't like about each other to be in a neutral place. Not in a place that I can't stand you, I don't like you, but in a place that it's just like, you know, I just don't care so much about it anymore. That's the beauty of being able to work with something. But I don't believe that most people, unfortunately today, even have that desire in them anymore. Thank you. I don't think that most people want to be able to live in a world of not being controlled. I think everybody just wants to be controlled today and wants to be controlling. It's just so normalized that it's hard not to want it because everything is tailored to how you want it to be. Even down to, I mean, every little aspect of your life. We have so much stuff on these lands. In this world, we just have so much stuff. Hey girl, that'd be a good throwing stick. Can I get it? Let me get it. Come on. There's so much stuff in these lands that would float. I guess it wasn't a good throwing stick. I rarely see sticks that don't float. What the heck happened to that stick? Oh, whatever. We'll find another one for you. I rarely see, we have so much of, say, consumerism type stuff that you do get a chance to be able to get exactly what you want, tailored exactly the way that you want it to be. And we're so focused on that with, girl, you could have gone and get it. We're so focused on that with every aspect of life that we want that in, even our husbands and wives, and we want it with our dogs, we want it with everything. I want to figure out how to be able to put a program into the dog to be exactly what I want, and then I'll be happy. And it just doesn't work that way. Kahi, come here. No, bring the stick. It just doesn't work that way. Out. And we have to be able to understand how to be able to work with. Hey girl, you gonna go get it? Okay, come on. Now they're gonna get to running and chasing. Go get the dang stick. So they only run and play in like literally here next to water and stuff. This is I like Ophi's show of force. Sorry, I just got so distracted. But Kahi doesn't know how to like really play. He does the chasing thing, and the other dogs don't quite 100% like it. So then she gives a little bit of attitude because of the chasing, and then he finally just stops. But the more and more that he's been playing with her, the better he's getting with interacting with other dogs as well. Because she's not how do I say it? She's not soft. When she gets to playing, she's a nice tough dog. She's not like this little pushover. You could just do whatever you want to me, and she just submits and folds. If you're doing something to her that she doesn't like, she's gonna stand up for herself. Where a lot of other dogs, unfortunately, like this is where my Kahi could be a big butt to some dogs because they just submit. So they literally would just lay on the ground, and he's gonna sit and stand there and stand on top of them, and it's so unhealthy to do. But this girl's not gonna back down. It's really cool about her. All right, guys, let's go. Sorry, just see my dog's having a good time. You're not getting that one, Kahi. We gotta just let these dogs just be who they are. And the word I want to use is compromise. You don't like that it's pulling on a leash when it's doing something. Well, get it to get out what it needs in a different scenario so that it knows that it wants to work as a team back and forth with you. And not work in the sense that you're always just fighting back and forth. That's when you constantly keep on needing to use the leash to keep like yanking and pulling and cranking and going and yanking and going and yanking and going, and the dog just finally says, okay, I'll do it now, because you're just yanking and pulling and just keep going and going and going. That's something that is just really unhealthy in reality, as opposed to saying, buddy, let's go do this over here so that we can be able to get out what you need, that I don't like you doing it here, so let's go ahead and do it over there so that we can both be able to get a little bit of what we need together, as opposed to it just being everything about me. It can't be all about you. It's got to be about both of us together. And that's, I think, the part that most people are struggling with. And at the same time, someone's going to say to me, Mark, you're an idiot. I don't need to care about that dog. The dog better just do everything that I want it to do. You know, that's at the end of the day, cool. I don't know why, but for me personally, I don't care how you look at and view the animal. But I do care about it in the sense of when someone is looking for some assistance on how do I be able to work with my dog, and all the information you're getting is, I don't care about the dog. I just make the dog do what I want. I'm another person that's going to say, let's worry a little bit more about what the dog actually needs, as opposed to just saying, I could just do whatever the heck I want to do to the dog. And I've seen and seeing some really, really cool things come from it on how the dogs are able to just, I don't know what word to use here, but just respect me in a way of appreciating me because I see who they are, and I don't just change them to be everything that I want. There's things that they do that I don't like, and I'm like, go ahead, you could do that, because there's things also that I do that you don't like. They don't like being on a leash with me walking next to my side. There's certain places and certain parks I go to that if I'm on a sidewalk path that they're walking right next to me. They don't like that, and I like that because it's more ease of access to be able to walk and go to certain places. There's lots more people around, lots more dogs around. They want to just be able to be running and free and go and get it. And so there's things that I do that they don't like that I do. So it's a back and forth that we're working with here. And when I really understand this back and forth, I see just some amazing results from it, as opposed to just saying, dang, how'd you get here already? As opposed to just saying to the dog, I just don't care about you. I don't care nothing about you. You're just an animal. And I see in the moment what you're doing in that second, and there's nothing more to them than that. I just can't view the world that way.